Tonight, on your favorite talk show, Moments Girls Talk, we discuss the topic, do your kids need to know about your sex life? How much is too much for them to take in? We are joined by media personality Ariyike Akinbobola.
Talking about sex?
Yeah, I think
my son is 16, why not?
No. You can talk about sex, but not saying I did this or oh, this is what your dad.
Not positions, though, but just my son at 16 needs to know that his mama is hot and his dad can't get his hands on her.
He knows already. He knows.
Join the conversation, guys.
So now it's time for our topic of the day, which is do your kids need to know about your sex life as a couple? What do you think, Ariyike? Because you're outspoken, you're looking shy now on your YouTube channel. We hear all the racy things that you talk about. So.
And even on our show, they talk about on the couch.
Yes,
wait, Cholu, I heard you, but please, can I hear you again? Because I'm not sure if I heard.
Do your kids need to know about your sex life?
Why? Why should they?
Wait, first of all, how old are your kids?
Well, the first will be 9 this year, and then the second 7, and then baby.
So the 9-year-old is aware.
Do they know where babies come from?
They're like,
they know where babies come from. Because like the 9-year-old knows because he's seen me pregnant twice.
Okay.
So yeah, he knows.
I mean, when I say know where baby, do they know how babies are made?
Well, they know mommy and daddy are the ones that make babies, but they haven't put him through the whole process that you do this and do that and.
But would you be comfortable?
He's probably going to be watching right now, so I'm trying not to say what
No. Okay, so we'll make sure that he doesn't watch this episode, so you can be open and honest.
Okay, very good. Very good.
But is it a topic? Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but is it a topic you think you would want to address yourself, or would you be more comfortable maybe with your husband addressing your kids because they're you have all boys, 3 boys?
Well, my kids are boys, obviously, as you rightly said, and with boys it's very different. Even training them is so different from girls. I mean, I remember myself being a girl, and there are certain things that I didn't do as a girl, and these boys do them. So with sex and all of that, I think it would be better if my husband was beside me to talk about sex, but letting them know about my sex life. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Never.
Okay.
Because there are boundaries. There are lines. There are certain lines that should never be crossed. Mommy is mommy. My kids look at me as near perfect. If they see a man crossing the road, they will say, Mommy, why is that man crossing the road? I have an answer for them.
Yeah.
If they see someone carrying something, they're like, Mommy, why is that guy carrying this? And I have an answer for them. So I would never want them to see me in that light.
So if your son asked you now, a 9-year-old, Mommy, how do babies happen? What would be the answer you give to him?
I would say babies happen when mommy and daddy, a husband and a wife, come together and they decide they want to have babies.
But you see, your firstborn, innocent boy, might be best friends with another boy from a family who is the last born and who has older siblings, whose brother sneaks in girls at night, who sees condoms lying around. Who watches porn. How do you then, if he has older brothers,
older siblings,
how do you then desensitize their minds to see, because it's a bit confusing. You can be shielded, but there's a world out there and they're not always with you. So what do you do about things like that?
For me, I always say this: make your children your best friends. Let them know that if they hear anything or they see anything, they have to tell mommy. And my kids are very close to me. So when they see anything, when they hear anything, they always come to me, no matter how bad. Even when they do stuff at school, they will always come and tell me, oh, mommy, this happened. I know what I did was not good, but this happened. So when you have that relationship with your child, you know that it's not easy for anybody to just say, oh, this is porn, come and watch. Oh, yes. If he even watches it, I believe he will tell me at this stage. And I feel there's a certain age for certain things. When he becomes a teenager, or when they become teenagers, or when they're like 12, going on 13, I think that's the right time. Yes, I think that's the right time to talk about these things, because children are very innocent and they talk about things innocently. So you don't want to expose them unduly, unnecessarily, where they'll go to school and they're like, oh, yes, we're talking about sex last night, because they say everything. They talk about everything. The other day, he came to school and said, oh, Mommy, my friend's dad was fired. I was like, okay.
How do you know that he's fired?
That's why I said, what's the meaning of fired? Oh, he was sent away from his office. I was like, okay, cool. And then my husband stopped working where he had been working for many years. And he went to school and told his friends, his daddy was fired. So he came back home and he said, I was even talking to my friends at school and I told him my dad was fired. I was like, but your dad wasn't fired? And he was like, I just said it because he doesn't work there anyway. I was like, you don't say that. So you have to go back to school and untell your friends and tell them that your daddy was not fired. So he had to go back to school, and then he came home and said, oh, mommy, I told my friends that my daddy wasn't fired, that he just stopped working there. I was like, good boy. So you have to establish that relationship with your kids where you know that no matter how bad what they see is or what they hear is, they will always come back and tell you and say, oh, mommy, this happened.
Okay,
like,
interesting.
We're going to continue this conversation. I have a question for you, and I want to see what your response is going to be. That'll be coming up shortly after this.
Talking about sex.
Yeah, I think
My
there's a
son is
line.
16, why not?
No. You can talk about sex, but not saying I did this or oh, this is what your dad.
Not
and I
positions, though, but just, you know, my son at 16 needs to know that his mama is hot and his dad can't get his hands
He knows
on her.
already. He knows.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk Nigeria. So we're still on the topic of do your kids need to know about your sex life as a couple? A very controversial topic. So Ariyike, you were just saying that, you know, you kind of make your kids your best friends. So they can come to you and tell you whatever they've heard outside. If they have any questions, you always know they can come to you, you know, for answers, you know. But just, you know, even in terms of kind of like, you know, you and your husband, do you kiss in front of your kids or do you avoid?
Yeah, how do you guys protect
gestures?
I need to
in front of them.
Well, we don't
Do you guys
French
text,
we don't
like
French
text each
kiss
other?
in front of them, like
kids?
the whole
Passion.
But we kiss on the lips.
And
like,
what do your kids say when you do that?
They're like ooh, or they're like and I kiss them as well.
Do you know what's so
I
funny?
kiss my kids as well.
Up to
So
this day, like if my parents kiss from me, I'm just like, ugh. Like I'm touching them, I'm just like, oh. Like my dad, like, bye, babe. And I'm like, oh, get out of here. You're too old for this. Like nobody has time for that.
If you guys, you know, if you're the kind of couple who would send your husband, I'm in the lingerie, when are you coming home, all those pictures and things, and the kids have access to mommy and daddy's phone, you know, from going to play games to basically calling their friends, asking if they can come over. So what miles do you take to protect your kids? Do you guys turn on the TV while you guys are digging it?
Yeah, so that the noise
doesn't
seep into
get,
their room.
you know, like, are you the shouting kind?
What
What do you guys do?
Have they ever walked in
on
whatever?
never.
So you lock the door.
That will never ever happen. Like I don't even want to imagine how my kids would.
Do you know what? As she's talking,
Do
you know, she's talking. What I imagine is basically a very crazy position, and he's like, "Mommy, there's no lights in my room." And they just catch you guys right there, like,
you won't be able to move. You'll just be stuck. Yeah, like. But I mean, never ever. For me, with the phone one, what you asked earlier on, I mean, it's not because of them or anything. I have 2 phones, and I've always had 2 phones. Now, one of the phones is one that they have access to, my kids. The other one, my iPhone, they have no access to it. It's always like I have a password. They don't even go near it. So when they want to do their homeworks and stuff, they use my other phone and they play games. They have games on it. And they use it, and that one there's nothing on it. So they will never say any funny message maybe to my husband or pictures or anything, never ever. However, what I would say is I think people expose their children unduly these days, where you see a 7-year-old boy with an iPhone. You see kids with unlimited access to the internet. Now, these kids know how to get on YouTube, they know how to watch their movies, and you know how the internet is. Sometimes you go there to look for something and then you begin to see other things. So what I always say is wait till your children are maybe teenagers before they have access to phones. And even if you're going to give them phones, don't give them phones that will get them, don't give them smartphones. Give them phones that are basic, phones that you can use to reach them if they're at school or wherever. So, yeah.
What about, you didn't answer the other part of the question. The noise and how to make sure your kids don't hear the sex life?
Well, thank God for grandparents. There's some weekends that we want to get, when we want to get really naughty.
When
we want to get really naughty,
in the kitchen,
we just take them to my parents' house. You know, leave them there for the weekend. Let them bond with grandma. You know,
Wow, you guys bond with
and
each
then
other.
you know, there we know that okay, we're home alone. I mean, it's when you have 3 kids. And you are home alone. Like it's just you and your spouse, and there's nobody. Like you can walk around anyhow. You can do anything you want wherever. You think you've gone on holiday because you're just like woo.
I love it.
So yeah.
And this is an interesting question of the day. Actually, even still scars me. Like I don't think I can answer this because I'm going to be scarred because my parents. Just thinking about it makes me like, ugh. As a kid, what did you learn about your parents' sex life that scared you? Even thinking about it makes me want to vomit in my mouth. I can't. Nah.
I can't even begin to imagine
Exactly.
like, the whole process of my parents having sex. Like left to me, they never did it.
Yeah.
Left to me,
I
they
just
never
showed
did.
up.
Immaculate conception
Yeah,
out of
showed
the
up.
sky.
Yeah.
And I want my kids to.
Yeah, but you know what? Left to me,
But I don't
I don't
so.
think I ever caught them. No.
I never even caught them kissing.
Really?
Yeah, I never.
I caught them kissing a couple
I
of
never
times,
caught
but
them
it wasn't like French kissing.
Yeah.
It was just normal kissing. But I remember, God rest my dad's soul, I remember lying with my mom one day, and he said something about he was going to deal with her that night, and I thought he was abusive.
He probably meant the other way.
He probably meant the other way because she was also
She was
smiling
doing
like
it.
she was like, "What are you going to do?" like that kind of thing. And they had one of those moments. They were speaking in Idori. For some reason, I don't know how I just decoded that. Even it just occurred to me right now that was probably what he was talking because he never beat her or he never did anything to her. But I remember he was going out the door and we're lying down and I was lying beside. I think I was ill, and I remember he said something about tonight is on.
You're getting it.
You're getting it.
I mean, have you ever had a situation your husband like, you know, you can like that, like code dirty talk to you
In front of them.
In front of them, and your kids are like.
Kids of today, they know.
Kids of today, they know.
They have those codes.
We work
Mom
we work
around.
better with-
M.A. Do you know they text
We
their
work,
friends?
we work better with eye contact. We're like, and then sometimes they're like, "Oh, mommy, why are you looking at my daddy like that?" I'm like,
Don't worry. It's
No, because you know what? You know what I realized? The kids are the ones that even have the codes. I heard there's something they say about mom around, where they text each other and they use abbreviations. Kids these days too, so they know that an adult is in the premise. So even when you're trying to decode, they know.
Wow.
The kids these days, they know.
Kids are sharp.
Wow.
They're very, very smart these days.
I think I'm gonna have to go through a very intense process, or I'm gonna have to find a way to make sure that my kids do not know anything about my sex life.
But is it okay
I think
for your-
it can scar you. No, it really is
Depending
disturbing.
on the age they find out. If they're maybe
doesn't
nearer
matter.
that
If
11,
If they're teenagers,
12,
I don't really care
I
anymore.
think they
It's kind of cute. If my husband gives me a tap on my butt in front of my son. He's 15. At least so he can know that he can be romantic with his girl.
That's true. And his parents are still in love and
15.
happy. So
I think the only good thing is that I love to see like, you know,
Hugs. I love hugs, you
and
know.
I think even kissing in front of your kids.
No,
it
but
lets your
even
kids know
talk
you're
dirty.
happy.
If my son is
talk
six,
dirty
no,
is not
no,
so-
but
it's
I mean,
okay.
no, but me and my husband, I believe that. I mean, I'm hoping that we'd have a home where we're the ones that would talk to our kids about sex education, and not until they're of age. But when my son is a teenager, and I want him to confide in me and tell me these things, I also want him to know how to treat his girl. So I want to be able to tell my son that your dad is romantic and he bought me this. So this
Yeah,
is
I mean, that-
Valentine
those-
period.
those
Let your
things-
dad buy me this because
those
this is what I
things
want.
are things that they will even see, like when he sends you flowers and all that, they know that it's from daddy. But talking about sex,
Yeah, I
and-
think
If
there's
my
a
son is
line.
16, why not?
But I think
No,
there's
no,
a
no.
line.
You can
Sex is
talk about
explicit,
sex, but not
explicitly.
but not
I
saying
agree with
I
Ariyike.
did this or oh, this is what your dad.
Not
and I are
positions,
up to.
though, but just, you know, my son at 16 needs to know that his mama is hot and his dad can't get
He
his hands
knows
on her.
already.
So now, secret. We have a tradition on the show.
Okay.
We ask that you share something about yourself
Okay.
that no one knows. I feel like you shared a lot, but something
You
else.
have actually.
Well,
Can't wait to hear this.
no one told me. No one told me I was going to be doing this. The first time I went to a strip club, which was a couple of years ago, I enjoyed the way the girls were dancing. I loved what I saw. And I had planned that I was going to learn how to pole dance.
So did you learn?
Well, I still haven't fulfilled that fantasy, but I believe very soon.
So is there a pole in your room?
None yet.
Okay.
Until I learn. After I learn, I'm gonna put one there.
Just make sure the kids are up to boarding house.
But I
at
have
that point.
shoes. I have shoes, and I have some. Yes, and I have some.
So you're into H&M?
I have.
wow.
No, I'm not.
I think your husband will enjoy it once you finally do it.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So watch out for Ricky the stripper.
The pole dancer.
Thank you so much for coming by.
You're welcome. I brought presents for you, girls.
You did?
So I'll give you guys later.
Oh, wonderful. Looking forward to that.
We
Thank
hope
you.
presents.
You're welcome.
We can't wait.
Because it's very good to appreciate people who are working, who are doing, what you guys do.
You should come
So,
back
yes.
more often.
So that we can get more presents.
Yes,
Of course,
yes.
we love presents.
And then we'd like to see you also show us your moves.
Oh yes. Hopefully by then I would have learned. So you
You know
guys
what's
put a
funny? I
poll
think you
here.
would actually be a badass stripper.
I think so too.
Yeah.
She's like, call me Candy.
Flicks the hair. Love it.
This has been so interesting. Come back again.
Thank you, I
Lovely,
will.
lovely. Always
Thank
lovely
you.
having you.
Thanks.
Alrighty. Coming up on the show is In a Nutshell.
You're watching Moments Girls Talk Nigeria. So in a nutshell, you guys, should your kids, know about your sex life as a couple? For me, I'm a very kind of conservative person. So I just, in a nutshell, I wouldn't really, I'd allude to it. I'd, let them know, sex is what happens between grown-ups who love each other. But I don't think I would really go into any details,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd go into details. How about you,
For me, when they come of age, I think I'm going to be that person who wants to torment my kids and annoy them. Just to
I can see
annoy
it in you
them.
already, Tony.
Because I'm naughty like that. So if my boys are 18 and they start going on dates and I know they're sneaking in and they now have girls, I'm like, what are you talking about that I don't know? Do you think your dad is not as bad as that? Honey, you can go out on, I don't come back early because we're getting our groove
That's
on.
hilarious.
I'm that kind of person who would want
You know
my
what's
boys
funny?
to
That'd
know.
probably actually make them very shy, and they'd be like, "No, mommy, I'm not going on any dates if you promise not to have sex."
Because I'll be like, don't come home because your dad and I need some time. Bye. Go to your friend's
Oh my
house.
gosh.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I definitely would try as much as possible to protect my kids. But I do think that you should kiss in front of your kids, just so they know what a healthy family life looks like, and they know what love and affection is.
Yeah, it's All right, well, before we go, let's take a look at this.
That is so cute. It's so cute. It's almost like go to bed because we need to get our
Already.
groove on.
I'm telling you.
This has been a very good episode, hasn't it?
It's an interesting topic. I learned a lot from Ariyike. She sounds like she's a great mom.
Yeah,
Definitely,
she's. And we had the perfect guest, a mother,
we did,
to obviously talk
we
to
did.
us about it. And that's it on the show today. We hope you've had an amazing time with us. Join us again on another episode of Moments Girls Talk Nigeria. And remember,
If you can think it, you can do it.